So the story of the Stitchwraith starts about 6 weeks after the events of Sister Location. It's about October 30th in 1983. The Stitchwraith is a cloaked figure that wanders the streets of Hurricane, Utah, rummaging through dumpsters and collecting scraps and parts. The Stitchwraith is most likely Ennard, based on its description having a white mask with one eye darker than the other. One small missable detail about the Stitchwraith is that there appears to be something stuck between its teeth. Plushtrap Chomper from Out of Stock had the end of a knife caught between its teeth, so it's pretty safe to assume that the Ennard is using parts to rebuild itself. So the Stitchwraith can be seen gathering parts from the wreckage of the Plushtrap Chomper from Out of Stock after it gets run over by the train. It puts the pieces into its bag and then disappears into the night without a trace. I believe that this story is about 6 weeks after the events of Sister Location because of the 5 withered bodies that are linked to the case. It's likely that Ennard used these bodies of these people as skin suits to blend in after leaving Michael's body, as that's why I suggested 6 weeks, just about. We follow an investigator named Everett Larson who is tasked with the case file on the Stitchwraith. To the town of Hurricane, the Stitchwraith is just an urban legend, no more than speculation, but from the suspicious death reports of the 5 withered bodies, something is clearly going on. About a week before Larson got the case, a girl named Sarah was said to have turned into trash by her school peers. All of these students were evaluated and seemed to be telling the truth. Similar to everyone who claimed to have seen the Stitchwraith, everyone was evaluated and there was a string of authenticity in their stories. It was hard to disprove that they were telling the truth. Somehow, and I'm not quite sure how, the case leads Larson to this house. Something happened in this house because on the inside of one of the upstairs drawers, there is crazy scribbling of black marker drawn everywhere. The writing isn't a discernible language and looks more like mad scribbling. It's just random. We'll just have to wait and see the importance of this house in 1:35 a.m. Here's some of the theories and lore possibilities implied by the Stitchwraith stories and the stories inside of Fazbear Frights. Basically, what the Stitchwraith stories have done so far is that they have taken one story from each of the books and linked it to the game universe. If the Stitchwraith is in fact Ennard, then Out of Stock and To Be Beautiful could also be part of the game universe. Also, Scott kinda confirmed that the Fazbear Frights books would be looking to fill in holes from the games. We know that these stories take place in October because of Out of Stock. The Stitchwraith goes and collects parts from the wreckage of the Plushtrap, which has also been recently run over by the train. Something to note is that Circus Baby's Rentals doesn't open until after Freddy Fazbear's Pizzas has closed, so it's actually likely that the events of Sister Location take place mid to late 1984, and the investigation into the Stitchwraith happens about late October of 1984. It would be impossible for Freddy's to still be open after the events of Sister Location, so I have to push the Stitchwraith story ahead a year into 1984. So what could this mean for the series? Well, I think that the importance will come with identifying the house from the end of the last story. Something bad clearly happened here, so this house should have some importance. My guess right now is that the house is either Williams or Henry's. Probably Williams. Also, we know by 1984, William is still a part of Fazbear Entertainment and still doing experiments between humans and animatronics as seen by the Plushtrap Chomper. We'll just have to wait and see for when 1:35 a.m. comes out.